So Lenny's gonna kind of, everybody, the SB award winners are gonna lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All winners, we come up here, please. Okay. Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
And the next thing on the agenda is the SB Awards. SB stands for Exceptional Student Performance of the Year. Jenna Norton's going to present the awards. The board recognizes students monthly for exceptional performance at school. It's given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept bullies. The school board and the district want to recognize the students by celebrating their success at the beginning of the school board meeting. Students receive a nice certificate and their names are announced on the web and the district newsletter. And with that, let Jenna go ahead.
Yeah, there's a drawing at the end of the year.
And at the end of the year, there's a drawing for a Chromebook, typically, out of the names of the SB award winners that year.
All right, when I call your name, please look at your award. From Sweet Home High School, AJ Rodriguez. Sweet Home High School, Dana Watkins. Sweet Home Junior High, Lincoln Pump. Sweet Home Junior High, Sawyer Anderson. Foster Elementary, Annabelle Mobley. Foster Elementary, Cruz Campbell. Hawthorne Elementary, Jaya Basket. Hawthorne Elementary, Olivia Albrecht. Holly Elementary, Logan Bennett. Over.
Yeah, there's only one for Logan. So
Oh, okay.
Abigail is.
Okay, we have Abigail Williams. Okay, so we have Hannah Lacey. Sweet Home Charter, Tate Lynn. Sweet Home Charter, Noel Pasadena. Yes, can we get?
Now, if everyone will come forward with your certificate.
They want you all to come out forward so they can take a photo, all of you. They get the baptism. All of that, come right back here.
Back here. All it to the back. There you go.
All right.
Cozy. Back a little bit.
Good, all right. Once I hope you said this way.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, that was good, all right.
Smile big.
Breathe, I'm like, breathe. Make sure you count, sit. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You do recognize this is a school night and at least the junior high schoolers are raring to go home and do their homework. So we're not offended if you want to leave this time, typically everyone.
Good
It's this time. Oh, yeah. Next, I think we have a presentation from the junior high, is that right?
No, they'll go with.
Yeah. Right across.
They're doing a student report.
Oh. Student report.
I'm Cinder. Sarah. And we're the hybrid leadership council. The junior high middle studies before, so we're about to let you know some of the things that have happened this year so far. Some things, with sports have been football, soccer, volleyball, and cross country. And not just sports, it's broken this season. And the first season is October 27th to January 9th, which is boys basketball, girls wrestling, and dance. And the second season is January 12th to March 6th for girls basketball, boys wrestling, and dance. And you have to meet with great requirements to be able to play. Some after school clubs we have is the Boys and Girls Club program, the Magic Club, Drama Club, Art Club, and Interact Club. Like we said before, we're on TLC with the Hanford Higher Leadership Council, and we do a lot of things like planning and having spirit weeks, spirit assemblies, and dances. We run having training posts, which is our students do. We make birthday cards for every junior high student, and then for seventh graders, there are 7th grade buddies. We write back and forth to them and picture trivia with them. We have student of the month assemblies and community activities that should make food baskets, helping them entry, and helping us help with carnival. We do student spotlights, which is posters of our 7th graders in around school. And in 2 weeks, we will plan leadership workshop at the high school edition. That's all they do for this week, but they're doing questions.
How many kids are in your leadership?
So every year the 7th graders have to sign up and they have to like, do like a application, application. And about 100 kids sign up, but only 41 kids.
Very cool. Who's your leadership teacher?
Before school started for you. Wasn't the leadership team there doing something with the 7th graders?
We were showing them around and then for their first day, we were helping them school and helping get to their class.
Thanks. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
We also have state.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to turn you with us. Next,
We have public comments. Who we have?
no, that's next.
Hello? How's it going? Well, I wanted to express my heartfelt thanks to the Sweet Home community, the staff, the families for 18 years that I was able to serve. As you'll see, my resignation is on the board agenda tonight. And I just felt that it was my duty to express my thanks to being allowed to serve in this capacity. I've really appreciated it, and I've appreciated my time spent with Sweet Home and Sweet Home students. I had a couple of questions that came up in regards to some budgetary items I've been looking at. I think it's 2320.340. It's labeled travel, and there's been a significant increase over the years in the travel budget. I think in 21, it was that particular item, roughly around $2,500. The next year it was 11,500. The year after that it was 18,500, and the year after that it was $46,500. So I was just wondering if there was a reason for this hefty increase throughout these recent years.
This is typically a time for public comments, not
Sure.
the board doesn't necessarily respond to questions.
Where would be the best to find that information?
You can come talk to Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That might be the best place to start. It seemed to me like a hefty increase, and so I figured I would bring it to you all and wonder. $2,500 to $46,000 over a 4-year span seems large for travel.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Hey, yeah, no problem whatsoever. And I do encourage you all in your work. I know I've been on this side of the desk, never on that side of the desk. But I do encourage you. I thank you for serving the community in this capacity, because oftentimes, as we know, it is a thankless job. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next, we have agenda approval and changes. We're motion to approve the agenda as it is, or you don't have any changes you'd like to add?
Was that the only student report then? Do we need to?
No,
That?
we're going to go on to student reports
Okay,
next.
so
Is this the new agenda?
I skipped ahead and you did the junior high out of order. It was intended to be part of the student.
Okay, and so we don't need to change any of that or approve.
I don't think so.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Dennis, second by Dale. All in favor, say aye. Next we'll do, student personnel reports, comments. Starting with certified and classified. That'd be-
Yep. That's you.
That was neat. The girls came here and talked about the leadership of junior high. They mentioned the wrestling and our girls this last weekend. First time in Oregon, and this is a trend. Women's wrestling is the fastest growing sport in America right now. And they decided to split the season. We had about a 3-week notice on that they were going to split. So we had to grab a coach. We had to manage and singlets, and because we already, they've been running them together, but Levi Weichel and Jennifer Gaspard and Isaac Schaefer coached our girls, and they had the first ever women's only state tournament. And our girls entered 10, placed 8, had one champion, and brought home a 3rd place trophy. And they scored everybody that entered. There was no limits or anything. And Banks and St. Helens were ahead of us, and they entered 20 girls plus. So our girls did a really good job. That was really cool, really cool. So, but I want to thank Luke. The last couple of years having Luke at I remember when he came, when I was a young teacher, and Luke came and was a much younger teacher at the high school. And so I got to know him there and built that friendship. And so for the last 18 years, it has been absolutely incredible having him at the high school and what he brought to, as Ralph calls it, the team, and what he did for students is very commendable. And I appreciate what you've done, Luke. And I'm going to pitch rocks at you like they did in Old Yeller as you go out. So, but good luck to you on that. And I know you guys are staying in the community, so that's a good thing. But we're getting ready to wrap up this semester, and it's where's the time gone? It's just been fast, and I guess that's a good thing, I guess. But no, we're doing some good things, and we have the calendar. Is that getting approved tonight or no? Yeah, discuss it. One thing that's a trend right now with many schools is you're seeing coming off of break, they're having that Monday off for teachers to get in and get resettled in and do a lot of things, because a lot of things happen. You don't want to come in over the break and try to do things, but and the transition with students getting back from vacations, but it's been a trend, and I know a lot of schools are doing that now. And I'd just like us to look at that. And, I don't know where it fits in or how it fits in, but it's not going to affect me for a whole lot longer. But I do know that a friend of mine that teaches in the Newburgh School District said once they did it, they'll never go back in another way. What it does for the teachers coming in and getting everything ready to go, it's been good. But do you guys have any questions of me on anything or what's going on?
Is that the Christmas break? Or
The Christmas break.
No.
No. Now, I'd love an extra little, no, just Christmas break. You go off and it's a 2-week break. And I don't know, I'd love to pull the numbers on the attendance of students on that Monday when they come back, but it's down. But it's a scramble. And I know Dustin's taught and Chris is taught. And so it's a scramble when you come back, and to be able to, okay, instead of, otherwise the expectation is to come in on our own time. And a lot of people do that, myself included. So
My sister is a teacher, and she, for the first year ever, came up here for the Christmas break, and she was able to spend the full 2 weeks and get sick.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then they had that Monday off. And
Yes.
She said it was really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a trend they're finding, and optics, though somebody's going to say, those teachers, they don't want to work, well, maybe they don't. So, but I think it'd be helpful. I'd love us to look at it, you know, even if we needed to pull some data somewhere. I think it's data we can find, but I don't know of many people that would say, no, I don't want that work day. So, and it'd be a work day, not a, so. But I would encourage you guys to come and watch our men's and women's basketball teams and swimming and our wrestling, find home events and come and support them. And this is a good place to be right now. And we're getting ready to go off to the Oregon Classic, our wrestling team. So nice. Yeah. Any other questions?
Near the end of wrestling season?
Oh, we're actually at our midway. We have the Oregon Classic. And the Oregon Classic is like the dual meet state championships. And so we have that this weekend in Redmond. And then we're cranking on the last third of our season. So yeah, we just had our league duels the other day here. So we're going over there to hurt some feelings. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Not seeing a classified representative or student, high school student give a report. We'll move on to the enrollment attendance update. Harry?
Hey, as part of this, before we hit that, you have a proclamation at your spot. It's a big long whereas. You should find it on a simple piece of paper. It is School Board Appreciation Month. And the sweaters that you have, these sweaters are the same sweaters that the community bought for all of our students district-wide. They are also available for sale at the Chamber of Commerce. And so if you need a different size, we didn't get it quite right, you can talk with Julie or stop by there if it's more convenient for you, but that's a little token of our appreciation. A summary of the whereas is Oregon's depend on a strong public education system to support both quality of life and economic vitality. Locally elected education boards provide essential leadership, connecting educators, families, businesses, and communities to foster student success that encourage students gaining knowledge and skills needed to thrive. We recognize and thank the dedicated community members who serve on our board, on education service districts and community colleges for building and sustaining the framework that educates Oregon's children. So for that, we thank all of you.
These are really nice.
They are.
Yeah, they're super soft.
I'm excited.
Me too. So who do they specifically thank for these?
That's from the school district.
Thank you very
We
much.
got those for you.
Thank you very much.
I got one for myself privately.
Okay.
The kids love them. They're well done. They're really soft. They're nice to
Really
me.
are.
They hold up.
Okay,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome. Attendance. Hawthorne. 1 for December, 93% attendance. And so well done, Hawthorne. Coincidentally, their lunch tomorrow will be cheeseburgers. For their win in November, so now we'll set up a December win for them.
How many times in a row have they?
This will be their third.
Wow.
Holly got them out of the gates and is pursuing them. And do you still have the trophy? So lunch tomorrow at Hawthorne for their win from November. Then on our enrollment, we have maintained equilibrium overall 2,180 for November, ending 2,180 for December. There were very few numbers moving back and forth in the elementary. But overall, again, we stayed even to the previous month.
When this semester ends, will there be a dip in the high school for early graduation?
Yep. Okay, next up is our Anti-bullying report, in December, Foster had 0 reports. It's all play. Who's this?
Sounds like it's something.
I know it's not that it does have it,
You saying it would be a Google horn, Rob?
Yeah, it might, the dog's part, that might be my part, but other than that, I know it's not my skill. Yeah. But not that.
Now someone else is going.
On the door, Rob.
Yeah, done. Sorry.
Oh, you chased it away. All right. Okay, Foster had none reported. Again, these are student reports to counselor, teacher, the office.
It's student reports, not student to teacher to principal, or how does that work?
Any students reported to a principal, to a teacher.
Okay.
Any that are reported, we capture. Hawthorne 0, Holly 0, Oak Heights had 8. That turned out to be peer-to-peer conflict. And so they were unfounded as bullying. Junior high had 11 reports, 10 were peer-to-peer conflict. 1 was a situation of bullying that they dealt with, and high school had 0. Next up, under thriving students and prepared citizens, Mr. Rosa is here. And he's going to tell us a little bit about some of the things high school leadership is doing.
Share. Yeah, the high school leadership team started a project last year. We were calling it the Leadership Lecture Series, where we bring in leaders in the community to talk, the 40 to approximately 80 kids in leadership positions at the high school. And quite honestly, it's been one of the best things for me. As the leadership director, I've learned a lot from the people that we brought in. So I just gave you a list of some of the people that came in last year. And we got a late start on here because I felt like we were pushing, some of those lectures during a really busy fall time with our homecoming and other events. And so we're starting up the lecture series, kind of now. We brought in Brandon Harvey, who's a faculty member at OSU. He teaches business leadership classes, and he talked about his experience leading teams that were, having to be productive, even though they were in different time zones. And so he had some really cool experiences there. But also he's teaching in the business school. So it's pretty relevant to be like, okay, what can we glean from him? So we brought him in this year. And as you look at the list, last year, big hitters. I started out with Rob Younger to give the class a history lesson on, leadership at the high school, because he was the activities director for a long time. Give them a grounding of what we do and how, how the philosophies that he has just kind of works his way into the rest of his career, especially now as the, OACA executive director. He leads a lot of different things. And so I'll back up a little bit. The overall goal here is to, get the leadership kids some experience listening to people that are leaders and understanding their pathways to becoming a leader. Because a lot of times, we spin our wheels, we run homecoming, we run, dances, we run assembly games, we run the inside reader boards and communication. That seems to always be our issue. No one's communicating enough, right? But we do a lot of those things, and then the end of the year hits, and it's like, well, how does running an assembly game translate to the real world? Oftentimes, trying to figure out goofy relays where a kid's eating a pie or whatever, or chugging the soda or putting the whatever on the whatever. It's hard to see those connections. Assembly games, and Chris can attest a lot of leadership potential in every little aspect that they do. And I don't think they understand you know, the importance of having to problem solve in fast, you know, moving environments and all that. And so bringing these guys in has allowed the class to kind of see that a future for them, like in the real world later on. Like, oh, you know, yeah, we're going to pick up, you know, pie tins and filling them up with whipped cream or whatever, but okay, who's going to pay for it? How are we getting there? Do we fill out the, you know, the off-campus permission slip form? Have we talked to that teacher to chaperone the thing? And, you know, they might get tunnel vision in that scenario, but when I bring these guys in, a lot of times they can sort of see what they're doing in the real world and be like, oh, we're kind of tackling those problems now. They just look a little bit different. So that's our whole goal with this. And if you're looking at Thriving, want to just run a leadership program where we're just, you know, putting assembly games on and having fun, you know, because that's a good thing to do. I think it's a valuable service for the school, but you know, if they can see that, hey, we can put on events or we can do complex things outside of school because they've been in the fire a little bit here, you know, running assembly games and May Week and all that. And if they can see the connection to the you know, the professional leadership role they'll eventually all be in, I think that's huge. So that's what we do. And if you look at the list, you know, the mayor, the police chief, the fire chief, a lot of public servants, you know, they're easier to get. The private sector's too busy making money, you know. But I brought in Milt Moran. Jim Hagel just recently retired. You know, he was a regional manager for UPS, managed, you know, at one point thousands of employees, you know, all across the West Coast, which is really cool. The bald guy that spoke before me, I had him talk, you know, but kids are tired of listening to him. But no, he brought in a lot of his experience as a volunteer on the USA Wrestling, you know, executive board and chairman and stuff like that. And it was cool for him to talk to the kids about, you know, his role in USA Wrestling as a big player in how it gets put on and decisions get made at the Olympic training level. And for those kids to understand that that was a volunteer position, that he didn't get paid for, that he, you know, was on Zoom calls and meetings and, you know, all that stuff was pretty cool. So he talked about the importance of volunteerism, which is what we do too, as you know, with May Week and the canned food drive and everything. So, yeah, that was that. And I brought Brian Brands in too. I brought him in a good time because we had a lot of guys that were just talking, a lot of lecture, a lot of talk. And, you know, Brian being a former teacher brought in this interactive lesson that talked about like finding your strength and then playing into your strength, which I think as leaders is huge because there's a lot of different things that you have to do. And if you try and do all of them, you're going to fail. And that was a really cool thing for some of our kids to understand because, you know, I need kids that want to get up and be on the microphone, but I also need kids that are going to keep track of all the spirit points and how much money we're spending and all those things too. So that was pretty cool. Like find your strengths and find your weaknesses, you know, build your weaknesses up, but also lean into your strengths. And so Brian did a good job of interacting with that. So getting ahead to this year, you know, I brought in Brandon Harvey. I'm bringing in George Virtue, who's the superintendent of Weyerhaeuser at the Santiam Lumber Mill. He's also the lieutenant of the Sweet Home Volunteer Fire. You know, he's a church leader. Right, I have on the docket here, Kevin, I hope you didn't forget about
Got it.
But they actually, and this is kind of funny. I asked the kids like, "Hey, who do you want to hear from?" And I'll start working on getting them in. And one of the first names was Kevin Strong. You know, we have obviously our student representatives come here. They didn't tonight. I thought I didn't remind. But you know, they hear from you and they hear good things about you, and so they want to understand how does leadership work when we're looking at numbers. And so that was I thought pretty cool for me. They're not just looking for I want them, you know, these people right here lead, and so that's kind of cool. So they also asked for another guy, but he's sitting in the is that the guy? They wanted to hear from Josh Darwood too, but he's too busy, I guess. So we'll find somebody else. So, but yeah, as far as, you know, Thriving Citizens, I think it shows them pathways to get into those leadership roles because obviously you're not going to start out as fire chief or police chief or superintendent or whatever, but they all kind of talk about how they got to where they are. And what's really cool is a lot of them didn't really set out to be in those positions. They just they just worked and they got good at what they did, and people told them that's something that they should consider. And it's pretty cool to see not only the leaders that are in our community, but the kids get to rub shoulders with that too. Because when I was growing up, I didn't know any teachers or police officers or lawyers or any of that. The only adults I knew were the ones that were in my classes. So that's been really cool for me, is just to give those kids like a chance to shake Mil Moran's hand. I think that's pretty cool. Talk to the police chief, talk to Nick Tyler. And a lot of times they have like shared, this town isn't that big. They got shared, acquaintances, and they're building those kind of connections for later. Some of our seniors and juniors are looking at jumping into the police force or the fire, service or something like that. And so Jim Hagels, he's a constant recruiter, and he's trying to hire people even though he doesn't work for UPS anymore. So it's pretty cool to see that play out too. So yeah, community stuff as well. We're connecting them there, and then just trying to give. And I said up to 80. We have 2 leadership classes. The freshmen and sophomores, they're class board members that get elected. There are 20 of them, 10 in each class, and then there are 20 juniors and seniors, so 40 total. I teach the upperclassmen. Ryan Adams teaches the younger freshmen and sophomores. Last year we had a kind of a homeroom ambassador, so there was 1 student representative in each homeroom class. So the amount of kids at these last year was bouncing around 60 to 75 kids to get into these leadership lecture series. And this year we're sitting around 40 kids every time these guys come in. So yeah. Any questions for me?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah. It's been, like I said, really, really rewarding for kids, but I think more rewarding for me, learning all kinds of stuff from these guys. So yeah, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. This is a really, really cool project, and I don't want to stop it anytime soon. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Pillar 3 and 4, we're going to be hearing more about further on down in the agenda, having to do with the hardware refresh, improved connectivity to the 4 elementary schools. And then we did have new phones installed over the break. And so tweaking things, getting the phones in, again, that's entirely system wide because we were having troubles with our system. And our IT department deserve a tremendous amount of praise for their work over the break to get that done and also ready for what's coming. So as technology continues to be very important with what we're doing, we need strong, structure and infrastructure behind that, and they're doing that. So that is greatly appreciated.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Thank you, IT people. Are there any new features of the system that are like an upgrade from what was there before, or anything that you could explain to us that makes it a cool system?
On the phones?
Yes, please.
They're working. People call us and we can answer. One of the big things was, one of the first things to go was the voicemail.
Yeah.
Voicemail went down, and so that is up and working. Sam could probably better address that. I like the songs they play. Instead of just ringing, it's a nice little kind of Caribbean vibe that they've got going. They're very easy to use. They look nice, and I think we'll get a lot of good use out of them.
Is that an automated system also?
It is, yes.
Call in.
Yeah. I don't see that as a good thing, but that was something, so. It is automated, so you call in and it will ask you where you're looking for the secretary, a teacher, the kitchen. I guess I'm not fashionable, I like someone picking up the phone and saying hello myself, but others like that.
Thank you.
Yes, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. Approve the minutes from the December 15th, 2025 school board meeting and accept the resignation from Luke Osberger, high school assistant principal, effective February 4th, 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Dale, second by Jenna. All in favor, say aye. I,
Can I speak?
yeah.
Mr. Augsburger, I accept your resignation with extreme sadness, both for our community and staff members. Your contributions, commitment, integrity, and grit have made a great deal to me. You will be truly missed, and I'm grateful for your 18 years of service for Sweet Home School District.
And I'd like to shake your hand. You were the first person that I met. And decided to go and you're very gracious. And then we moved over to talk to the process, you did things. And we are there for things. So
Next we have, information discussion. We have a budget update by Kevin.
Item 7A in the board packet, we are now halfway through the fiscal year, and it's a good time to, for the big number at the bottom. Is over $12.6 million, and when we look at that, we'll say, well, why isn't it half the budget? It's closer to a third of the budget. Well, the majority of our expenses are in September through the year. For example, teachers' balance. We paid out already September, October, November, and December. But we have then the remaining of the year to go. And so in that case, the bulk of our expenses will happen in the second half of the year. And so we'll be getting much closer to that overall budget number. With that said, we're on track to be within our total budget for the year, so we're in good shape.
Since Luke did bring up the travel, I'm curious, that has there been such an increase?
It sounds like he's talking about a particular department, and so I need to look back. He just had a number. I need to cross-reference the department. I would expect that one of the reasons is, I believe he was talking was the first year, 2020, 2021. If that was the base year, that was when COVID was going on. And so there was very little travel that year. But with that said, I'll go dig into it. And if the board likes, I can come back with a full report.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else on the budget?
I have a question. What is the line extra duty?
Extra duty.
Yeah.
That's primarily coaching salaries.
Okay.
Yep.
All the other ones to be told.
Good question. It's activity, like say for the play director, sometimes there are some stipends that get charged to that as well, but the bulk of it is for coaching salaries during the year.
People taking tickets at football games, stuff like that.
It appears the retirement system is still the state's it's huge. Is there any forecast for that proposed increasing in the future?
You are correct, Mary. We did experience, along with most government entities, back on July 1st, our PERS rates went up. And so that's what's driving that line item increase. Our PERS rates are set for a 2-year biennium. And so next year, they will be the same as this year. So from year to year, you won't see as notable of an increase. My hope is, and this could be a whole separate topic for board meeting. You look at investment returns, and the stock market has been on a roll. Unfortunately, PERS has been underperforming the market. It's had a lot of its investments in private equity that have underperformed. And so they will do a new valuation as of December 31st, 2025, that will help determine our rates going forward. But the last update that we had, definitely the PERS portfolio has not performed as well as the overall stock market.
Which is managed by the state, right?
Correct. And I should say too, that's been in recent years. If you go back historically, there was a time where PERS was outperforming most other similar pension funds, but in recent years, it's been underperforming.
Have they been talking at all about reevaluating their investments?
Definitely. In fact, I could also, if the board would like, there has been some good media coverage about this, and it's something it's a major expense for us. And that's information I could share with you too. So, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next we have the proposed calendar for 26-27.
The calendar that you have is for informational purposes, discussion. We have taken the prior year calendar. We'll look forward, we try and make it match because the calendars that we have had have worked. And so there was a year where folks got really creative and hopped on their little Honda Trail 90s and headed for the hills. And if you were around, then you remember that that really did not work well at all. There's a lot of parameters. The union involvement, staff involvement, et cetera, that we are required to do. And so just getting real creative and let's start from scratch isn't a good practice. So this calendar has our start, our end. We heard Steve say he would like that Monday coming back tweaked. And so if we take a student instructional day, which that is, and change it, you know, that will cause other tweaks to the calendar. But we are mandated by the state to have a certain amount of days. We can include a certain amount of holidays, student contact days, and service days. So this calendar does that. It has been sent out to the buildings and across the departments for people to look at and respond to. And then we will bring it back to you when everybody's had their say. Another one of those, we have to have both union groups have to have a 30-day review period. So that time has started. We typically do this, I think March is when you're asked to adopt the calendar. So that's just an early look at it. Numbers and things work. We'll need to tweak it a little bit once we talk as a group about the request from the certified union.
So these questions, how many extra days are built into the schedule for whether,
We don't generally build in extra days.
so the time to extend it?
Isn't there like a certain number of days that the state allows for weather, or you have to start appending days?
There's a little bit of grace there, but the whole weather process itself, you know, you're making your best guess on what Daryl has seen and Michelle out driving at 4:30 in the morning, talking with ODOT, what they can keep up, what they can't keep up with. Worst thing in the world is trying to call school based on a weather forecast. And so when we had that snow last week, I started getting phone calls from people both asking about an early out, and I think we had like 12 minutes of school up because of Wednesday was the release day. But also asking, you know, have we made any decisions about tomorrow yet? No, you make those in the morning. You'll see a pattern there where we go to a delay. I mean, unless it's horrible, if we've got ice and more ice is forecast, and we've got power out and the buses can't get around and all that. To have a school, this, when you stop, just tell them, hey, I got enough. You have to have transportation and meals available to support count as a school day. So if either of those fall out, you really have to start thinking about, you know, what you're going to be doing. So it's a little complex, but no, the little bit of snow we had last Wednesday isn't going to fight us in school delay. So we go about that in a really thoughtful.
My kiddo was very sad that it stopped right as they were walking out.
It was pretty, the snowflakes coming down was pretty well lasted.
Yeah.
Right?
I have a question. So do we have the, I don't want to say the correct amount, but the allotted amount of the in-service days?
We do.
Exactly. Got it. Okay.
This is a calendar that meets the requirements and works.
Sure.
We do follow for spring break. We do follow the college release calendar. So families could be together if they're going to be home from college, or if that's a time when families are going to take trips.
I do have a question. I did speak to my kids in school about it a little bit. But we always have conferences that third week or fourth week coming back. What would the impact be to move it to the next week where Halloween wasn't something we had the sugar highs? And I know that it's a revolving date, like I know that Halloween constantly changes. Mr. Looney expressed his concern with that, because it would forever change, each day, but having that. Is it a concern that kids would miss out on Halloween activities because they're not in school? Or do they, celebrate them on that maybe next Wednesday? Just curious if there's a benefit to not having all the crazy sugar and they're in all the time.
There's a couple different responses included for that answer. If we really wanted to do the schools a service, we would get Halloween to be the final Saturday of the month.
Yeah.
Observed there. Teachers would cheer it, custodians, the bus drivers, we get that off of the school day. It's actually worse the next day, the day of, you've got all craziness. The next day is when the kids have pillowcases full of candy. Parents, I think, would be split. Some parents we've heard from very much like the activities that you have, especially in elementary. Where I heard a principal told me this year, we're not doing the school parade. They did the school parade. And I had the same thing happen to me. So it's a big deal for the younger kids. The parents, I think, are pretty well split. So if that is something that the board would like us to look at, if you would like that, then let us know and we can do some checking into that.
I was just curious. It just seems like conferences are like right in your face when school just started and you're like, wait, I don't even know your name yet. How, I don't really know about what you're gonna give me as a report. Not yet.
Is that something we could do, like a community outreach about or something?
Yeah.
Because, it might not happen next year, but maybe years after.
Again, if that's something that the board is would like, just let me know and we'll start looking into it.
It's a good idea, Jenna.
Thank you, share something. It's hard on everybody. Yeah, we're doing teacher.
Next, we'll move on to the action items. Resolution 2526-2. Approve the 2026-27 LBL ESD local service plan.
Do we have a representative for it?
We've already heard it.
So this, for the new board members, is something that is passed. Like when you're, I understand. Yep.
And we, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
When we last spoke of this, we talked about specialists that the district isn't necessarily able to hire. So we do have some speech pathologists, but not enough. And whereas Corvallis may not have it, for example, may not have it with the university, might not have any trouble solving speech paths there. Having them here, which is more of an issue. Some of the others, autism specialists. Behavior specialists. These are some of the positions that we typically hire through our local service plan with the ESD. And so that continues.
So and the ESD came and spoke to us, right? And went through the plan. And why are they having us sign it again?
They're now taking it to their board.
Okay.
And so what this is the interaction between our school district as an individual and the ESD. And the ESD is responsible for, say, 13 member school districts. The Valley, Coastal, Lynn, Valley Coastal Superintendents Association. And so now it's okay, presented to the individual districts. They are in agreement with our plans. Now it's a vote. We can go to their board and say, we presented, they're in agreement, they now voted on it. And we have approval from the B-Signal. These are the services that we need to prepare for.
And then they can finalize their budget.
And so, piggybacking on what Mike said, when they gave us that presentation, they were basically presenting the 25 through 27 revision. And no change. This isn't a budgetary item. Hey, this is just a good thing. Okay.
Again, it reflects those different positions that we were speaking of.
I would make a motion to approve the resolution for LBO. Second.
Motion by Jenna, second by Mary. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All nay, any nays? Hearing none, move on to approve contract with Festivity to purchase equipment for a complete network hardware refresh. Do Terry or Kevin want to address that?
How about we're going to have Sam?
Where's Sam?
Sam can I can take a swing at some of those things, but fat beams and I beams and all the different things.
Hello. So as outlined in the memo, our network equipment's aging quite a bit, 7 to 13 years old. We're starting to have bandwidth issues and bottlenecking issues. And also I'm looking to cut some costs because currently our current system requires an ongoing yearly subscription to function. And that's never fun to have to deal with every single year. The RFP we put out is for all modern technologies on it. The next generation firewalls help with security, intrusion detection, intrusion prevention. The Wi-Fi 7, while it's nice that it has the speed, the main thing that we want from it is the extra security that provides as well. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It would be a massive upgrade, and that I would believe would set us up for the next 5 to 10 years. And with Questivity and the unified product, we aren't as tied to E-rate to do it because it is cheap enough to replace if anything happens. Any
Always go,
questions?
Kevin. You obviously have the money.
We, two things, we have financially planned for this, and the other thing too is increasingly technology is a cost of doing business and education, and so it's something that we need to keep up with. Just so we're serving the classroom as well.
And having security.
So we went through the public contracting process.
Right.
Put on an RFP.
Yep.
And then rated the 4.
Yep.
And that's how you ended up with Questivity.
Correct, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the contract with Questivity to purchase equipment for a complete network hardware refresh.
Motion by Dale, second by Mary. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Hearing none. Approve a contract for Fat Beam Fiber to provide internet services to Foster, Hawthorne, Holly, and Oak Heights elementary schools. Sam.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, when will this all start?
So for the network upgrade stuff, we'll have to put it in a form 471 to E-rate. And then the E-rate usually takes, we hope, around midsummer to get approval. Yeah, it's a little slow. And then once that happens, we start getting the equipment and can do that.
Is it going pretty easily? Is that like a long-term project?
It'll be kind of a longer term project. I would like to get it done before October next year. twenty twenty-seven. It's a major project and
You have to
do,
have downtime
yeah,
to where you can put it in.
yeah, it's a major project. It's gonna have to be done on like weekends or time that people are not in school or at work because it does require bringing down the network to replace the equipment.
And they're,
Any overtime. We're gonna have to pay for.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we need to do. The good thing about this, like Sam has talked about E-rate, and what that is essentially is a federal grant that pays 80% of the cost for us. And so that makes it much easier financially to handle.
So we can use that towards paying the employees to get this done.
Not for our employees, if potentially for contractors, if it's included in the pricing for our own staff, we would be paying for our own staff.
Yeah. So these numbers here, that's what we're paying, that's not,
No,
no,
So,
okay, that's the total.
that's
And
the
then
total number.
80% is
Yes.
covered, but, oh, okay,
So Questivity, it would be about $40,000 pocket.
okay. That's a better number.
Yes. Yes.
I was looking through all the stuff and I'm like, $2 million.
Yeah.
Sounds like my response.
So with the fat beam, the fiber construction, that's even better. So that's potentially zero cost to us completely between E-rate, the Connecting Oregon Schools Fund state match, and also a federal state match. So that would cover all of it. We being E-rate, we had to go with the lowest bidder on this one, which was Fat Beam again this year. And that is just to basically allow our elementaries to catch up to our junior high and high school and how much data they're able to get to their students. We've already hit some bandwidth issues this year between the elementary schools and the district office. So this is a highly needed upgrade.
CenturyLink didn't respond to the. So
That's
they might not-
That's kind of a temporary upgrade. On top of this being faster and more upgradable, it's also ends up being cheaper per month. So
I would make a motion to approve the contract for Fat Beam Fiber. Providing net services to foster and proper only.
Second that.
motion by Jenna, second by Dale. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, approve the bond measure objectives.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. So, Harry, Kevin, when do you want to talk this?
Do you want me to? Yeah. Right now, kind of an exciting time is we potentially look at a bond measure that would greatly improve safety and security without increasing the tax rate. And we're at that time where we need to actually write the bond title information that would go to voters. And we also need the board to probably as soon as next month approve a resolution for a bond if the board chooses to do that. As we write that, it's helpful to make sure that what we as staff put in it matches what you want to see. And so what we are asking is for the board to identify what the primary objectives for the bond will be. And so our suggestion tonight, and this is something that you can change, but our suggestion tonight would be that the bond have 5 primary objectives. The first is maintain the current tax rate. The second, in safety and security. The third is upgrade classrooms and career learning facilities. The fourth, durable, long-lasting schools. And fifth, leverage grants to reduce local costs.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the proposed bond objectives.
I had a question.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
So, I know I've missed a couple, so I apologize if we already discussed this. Is this for a brand new high school or just to make improvements to the high school?
The thought process, and a lot of this is we had a long-term facility planning committee. And when you look at the classroom section, first of all, the safety and security improvements, we would like to be able to do something at all of the schools. The primary focus, though, would be on the high school. We've made substantial, like all of the other schools have security vestibule entrances, and we've definitely tried to make it where during the school day, if you come to the school, there is one entrance that you go in. At Sweet Home High School, I'm going to say it, when it was built, the classroom sections, it was built very economically and quickly. And the way to do that at that time, it's called a California style open campus. And, pretty much what we did in Western Oregon is we built a California style open campus at Sweet Home High School. And I recognize too, at that time, security was, it was a different time for security. And so, it has over 40 entrances where the public can go through a door and directly access either a classroom or where students are. And so really what the long range facility planning committee is recommending is if we can do this without increasing the tax rate, let's primarily the classroom and career learning sections at the high school, let's make this one secure, but also much better positive learning environment too for students that can serve kids in Sweet Home. I would hope for 75 plus years, and well after we're gone. And so that's the opportunity in front of us.
And then just to clarify what you're asking the board tonight is for us to approve for this to be a bond measure, that the public can go and vote.
That would likely be next month. Right now, though, what we need to do is come to you with what the ballot title, what it will be about.
Like kind of the main
Yeah.
objectives so that they can go write the ballot.
I'll give you an example. One thing, and if money wasn't an issue, which it is, there are lots of other things we would like to do. For example, many of our, really two of our elementary schools, Hawthorne and Oak Heights, the cafeteria doubles as a gymnasium space. It would be great that those schools could have separate cafeterias from their gyms. At some point it would be great to replace the swimming pool. There are lots of other needs that are out there, but right now, given the money that we will likely have to work with, we need to make a decision as to what this bond will look like. And so right now, these 5 objectives, this is what we're suggesting. But the board, if you tell us to go in a different direction, definitely we'll go in a different direction.
Oh, yeah, great. Yep. Thank you.
And so basically, after we approve the objectives tonight, you're gonna go back, write the draft.
What we'll do.
Ballot title, explanatory statement, question that goes to the voters.
Exactly.
Run it by legal counsel, bring it back
Exactly.
to us for us to approve whether or not to even go out for the bond.
Exactly.
Very. Thank you.
I think you started a motion.
I will second that motion.
A motion by Dale, second by Jenna to approve the bond measure objectives. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? None. And lastly, appoint Jason Reddick to the Budget Committee position number 7 at large.
So moved.
Second that.
Motion by Dale, second by Jenna to approve Jason Reddick to the Budget Committee.
I have a question. Was that posted or is it just Jason's just getting appointed? I don't remember us to. Has it? Okay. I just didn't remember us.
There's other openings
Yeah,
too,
there's
right? There's like
Okay,
How many do we have now on with this one?
3, and so
I think Mike, Reynolds, Kevin Hill. Jason now, so we still, we,
3, so we can go to 9.
yeah, I mean, we need to have, it can be anywhere from 9 to 18. And so we have other openings if there are community members who are interested in serving.
so Jason's the only one that applied, is kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Or right now, but
For
we,
right now, sure.
the door is still open to apply.
And it sounds like there's 6 other openings. For anybody out there who's interested. So. We have a motion and a second to appoint Jason. Did we do that?
We didn't vote yet.
We didn't vote yet, right?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No.
Mr. Chair, motion opposed, Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mary was opposed. Board comments. Does anyone have any comments before we go into executive session?
I have a real quick comment. I think it was three sessions ago, I zoomed in and it was when we were talking about the Pledge of Allegiance and there was like, I couldn't talk. I was yelling, I'm here, and no one could hear me. And anyway, I just have to say that I was disappointed that we didn't pass at least the Pledge of Allegiance daily in school. I mean, we start our meetings and we see that it takes 20 seconds, right? And so it was disappointing when I heard that, that would be an interruption in instruction. And for me, patriotism and love for country that's a priority, at least. And so that's why I was kind of bummed that I couldn't say anything on the microphone. And I would like us maybe to reconsider bringing at least that portion up and think about it a little more. It doesn't take very long. And I just believe with us in the state of Oregon, with so many battles that some of those standards some of the families face from some of the standards in Oregon, it would be a nice balance to have them do.
I think we discussed it. I think the teachers have the opportunity to do that every day they chose.
Right,
So-
so I know so policy is making it to me a statement that this district considers the Pledge of Allegiance to be something worth preserving. And so I know the state of Oregon right now, I believe that I think you have to do the Pledge of Allegiance once a week. I believe that's mandated.
I think so.
But I thought it would just be something that our school district would stand behind, with saying that this is one of our important values.
I think we concluded in all the discussion we had was just that it is an opportunity that if they chose to do so, they were able to do so. But with the way that the instruction time is built in and everything else, it was hard. Feedback from teachers, principals, staff, students, actually not students, but that was the conclusion.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to let you know how I felt about it. And again, we do it here and you can see that it only takes like.
Oh, yeah,
and
and
seconds. Anyway, thank you.
Any other board comments? With that, we'll go into executive session. Ask the room clear, except for the, did we get to have, ready?